We're here today to show you how to install a 900 by 900 Posh Solus versatile shower tray on a timber floor. At a later date, we're going to finish our floor with some tiles. Of course, this work should only be undertaken by a suitably qualified tradesperson. So, step one is to unpack your tray and check the contents. Inside the box, you'll find the tray itself, the puddle flange, the flashing, and the installation instructions. Give the tray a light sand all over with coarse sandpaper. This is to allow the adhesive to get a good solid grip once we glue it down. Now place your base in the final position and mark the perimeter out with a pencil. Note we're cutting it out about 5mm proud to allow for an expansion joint. Now we're going to use a circular saw to cut out that section of flooring. So the first step is to adjust to the depth of our floor. Our floor is 19mm, which is a standard thickness. It'd be worth double checking the thickness of your flooring before going too far. So now we cut outside the markings. And once we're done, we keep the cutout handy because we're going to use that later. Okay, now that we've removed our flooring, we've exposed our joists. So our next step is to measure the joists, and we're going to trim some battens to fit between them. Note we're going to pre-drill and then nail or screw them into place. They're going to be set 19mm down from the top of the joist, and again double check your depths based on your flooring. So now it's back to our floor cutout. Now assuming the quality of your floor cutout is good, we're going to cut this out and insert it onto our newly created battens. So, measure the width between our joists and cut the flooring to size. Now we insert these onto our battens and screw or nail them into place. Now note that our base sits about 6mm proud. This is to allow for the underlay. Next we mark out the waste hole and we remove the tray and cut it out. Posh Solus versatile shower trays come with a raised lip on 3 sides. This is so that you can insert the base into a narrow alcove. But for our example today, we're inserting the base into a corner. So as a result, we want to remove the lip that is not sitting against the wall. To do this, pretty simple, just use a jigsaw and trim it to the level of the base. Okay, now we're ready to glue our base into position. Now it's really important to make sure your base and your substrate is clean, dust-free and dry. It's obviously a good idea to make sure your base fits before applying any adhesive. So drop it into the hole and see how it goes. Now, we recommend Sally's Pro Series adhesives or Map-I PU45. If you decide to go with some other product, just go with something similar and make sure that they are not water-based products. As funny as it sounds, these bases do not like water and will not work with water-based adhesives. So apply our adhesive to the substrate, and by the end of the application, you should have basically used 2 tubes. We'll need more adhesive later, so make sure you buy enough. Now we gently place our base onto the pre-glued substrate. Next we pop some weight onto the base, evenly distributed. A couple of bags of cement will work just fine. This is to allow the base to adhere to the substrate. The next step's probably the easiest. We leave it overnight to allow the adhesive to dry. Similar to the lip on our tray, our flashing, which has a patent, also has 3 sides. We'll need to trim one side off using an angle grinder or a hacksaw. Now we place a silicone bead along the edge of our base lip and place the flashing neatly on top. Screw or nail the flashing into the studs. Now as we mentioned, at a later date we're going to finish our bathroom with tiles. So the puddle flange that came with the kit will work just fine. If your plan is to finish with something other than tiles, you might need to grab yourself a slightly different puddle flange. So to insert our puddle flange, we're going to need 4 35mm self-tapping screws. Chipboard screws are just perfect. We're going to pre-drill 4 holes in the puddle flange, 1 on each side. We're going to silicone the puddle flange recess and place the puddle flange into position. Now, using our self-tapping screws, we simply screw the flange into the substrate, just far enough to allow the flange to sit flush with the top of the base. Pop a bit of silicone on the head of each screw. Things are really starting to come together now, and we're on to installing the villa board. So again, out with our silicone gun, and we place a bead along the flashing, nice and low, so as to create a nice seal. Using 6mm villa board, we place the villa board in place and some liquid nails to help stick it to the wall. We screw it into the studs. It's worth noting at this point too that it's really important for you to adhere to your particular state's waterproofing standards. That'll stop things coming back and biting you later. Oh, and by the way, it's worth popping your puddle flange cap on too. This is just to stop any debris from falling into the plumbing when you do your tiling. Now, because we cut our floor out about 5mm larger than our base, we've got a nice expansion joint all the way around. So now we need to cork the expansion joint with a rubberized waterproofing sealant. Now we nail our tile underlay up to the tray edge. If all has gone to plan, you should have a nice flush meeting point between the underlay and the tray. Now we'll simply cork this expansion joint between the tray and the underlay. We then apply tape over the expansion joint. We use Grip Set waterproofing peel and seal tape, which is available at large hardware stores and plumbing retailers. Keep in mind there's no need to waterproof over the tray, as it is a membrane. Only waterproof up to the corked edge of the tray. And that's it. It's really that simple. Your Posh Solus versatile shower tray is ready for tiling.